So when we're looking at these ideas in terms of thoughts, which can be haunting. Your thoughts can drive you crazy. But then when I come across a divine idea, and then sometimes I come across a knowing, something that you just know it without a shadow of a doubt. I think what some metaphysicians, and I've been on that road, I've gotten a lot better now, and knowing the difference between a simple thought that shifts by the moment depending on what's going on around me, and then a knowing that's happening regardless of what's happening around me and what it looks like. I know that I have this tidbit of truth that I know it does not change based on how I feel or what is out picturing.
Exactly. Boy, you are missing.
Yes. Yeah.
You're listening to the What's Up with DJ podcast with your host and personal development coach, David DJ Lloyd Jr. Each week, he brings you current events and trending topics from a spiritual perspective, including career development, finance, holistic living, and life hacks, along with stories that invoke humor and inspiration. So if you're ready, let's join the conversation. Here's DJ.
Welcome to another episode of What's Up with DJ. I'm your host, DJ. And each week I bring you top topics about current events, career development, finance, holistic living, life hacks, and stories of inspiration and humor, all from a spiritual perspective. So be sure to subscribe, like, follow, comment, and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Your opinions and comments are always encouraged and appreciated. With that being said, let's get right into the show.
Meditate. That is good to do. But what about, this is why this practice that I'm working with now of mindfulness is helping me to be aware at every moment. So I may not be sitting down in my meditation chair in my beautiful office here room, where I have the trees and I can look at and I spend time. That's great. But what about when I'm driving? What about when I'm grocery shopping? What about when I'm at the doctor's office? If I could tap into the realm of the awareness that I am still present in those situations, then I have something. So mindfulness as a practice is a spiritual meditation that is alive. It's active and not passive. I love passive meditation, and I think we should do that. We should sit down and spend time in the silence. Yes, we should. Not praying and asking, but being. We must do that. Letting light come in, just focusing on light entering into our bodies. Do that, So those kinds of things are very important. But equally, is it important to become aware of, oh, I just got annoyed at the lady in the fruit aisle because she was taking too long weighing her fruit, and I'm here waiting. So I want to be able to see that, because that's the now moment. Life and spirit is happening now, and we are always putting it off. So if in that moment that I'm in the grocery store and I notice, upset, impatience, I'm impatient, and I see that, while I'm doing that, the seeing of it is a spiritual activity.
Yes.
And it's like, wow, okay, that's what's happening in my mind. When? Right now. And in that now moment, when I see that, I have an instant to say, let it be, not resist it, just notice it. And when I don't resist it, maybe my impatience will subside and go away. Maybe I'll be moved to say something. Ma'am, would you mind if I don't know, but I'm present in that moment because I'm aware. And when I'm aware in the present moment, that is where the power of God is. God ain't here tomorrow. That God that I'm seeking is right there in my decision. And I can then let that energy of the divine, the awareness, help me to move into whatever my choice might be. It may be to ask her to let me go because I have an emergency. I don't know. It could be that the impatience just dissipates and I say, okay, Sylvia, relax, sit back, wait, Or it could, I don't know, or it may be that I continue on with my anger, but I see it. I see it. And I say, okay, you just want to be angry, go ahead, be angry. You know what I mean? But that awareness of it is where God is. And that starts to make a tremendous difference in how you live life. All of a sudden, I'm doing this now, and the subtle changes, it's like, whoa, because I'm creating spaciousness. It's like, whoa, I'm present. And when I say I am, the I am is what?
The I am is God.
Yeah, the I am is God. So when I say I am present to these thoughts, this feeling, God is present. And it's like, but I'm aware of it now. I'm aware of the presence of God, active right here, right now. And then stuff starts shifting. The mind, you start expanding. You have greater choice. You have greater awareness to say what to move in any direction, that whatever the impulse. And I believe the more we start being present, the impulse for the good towards the divine, it becomes stronger. So that the impatience fades, and I'm like, you know what? And if it's something that I really need, then I might be moved to say, ma'am, I know, could I interrupt? Would it be possible for me to do that? Because I have my mother in the car. She's, I need to get her some food, but whatever it is. And the person might say yes, or they may say no. I don't know, but I'm moved to then act from a conscious place, or sit and say, okay, relax, Sylvia, all is good. And then that might be the thing, but I'm present and centered. It's a whole nother way of living. And then when you're in that state of presence, the divine is like, boom, boom, fire. It's downloading what you need to do or say or move, or the situations. The universe is like bringing stuff to, bringing those synchronicities, and it's working. You're not working, it's working.
And you said one of the key words is the downloads, because one of the I like that word because one of the things that I think a lot of metaphysicians struggle with and don't becoming a mystic is divine, understanding what is a thought, what is a divine ideal, what is a knowing, and what are the difference in these types of, all of it is up here. It can be heady, can be in the head. And I believe that we have body organs that are not physical organs that are happening around us. So when we're looking at these ideas in terms of thoughts, which can be haunting, your thoughts can drive you crazy. But then when I come across a divine idea, and then sometimes I come across a knowing, something that you just know it, without a shadow of a doubt. I think what some metaphysicians, and I've been on that road, I've gotten a lot better now, and knowing the difference between a simple thought that shifts by the moment, depending on what's going on around me, and then a knowing that's happening regardless of what's happening around me and what it looks like. I know that I have this tidbit of truth that I know it does not change based on how I feel or what is out picturing.
Exactly. Boy, you are mystic.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. Because it comes into our awareness, and it's like, oh, all right. Don't know how I know that, but this is what is up. You get what's up with DJ. This is what's up, and so there's a vibration, an energy that you just know. And I'm getting to the point where I'm not questioning as much. I'm moving with it. When I'm beginning to practice, it's like, wow, should I do that? I'm questioning what's coming in, and when you start to question, you interrupt that vibration. And the more we get comfortable with, I'm getting a knowing, let me just move. I don't question it now. It's like, oh, I'm moving, and that's where we're moving with grace. I'm letting it flow. I'm letting this energy flow through me, and I then become simply the vessel. I'm just the instrument of the divine doing its thing without me being in the way. So when I start to question, is this right? Or what? That's me. The moment you start all this questioning, and that's the mind chatter. the mind, the ego, you said it before, the ego's activity. It wants to know, wants to prove, it wants to this. Spiritual energy doesn't work like that. It's a subtle, it's just an energy that moves, you know. So can you imagine if Jesus had said, well, I wonder if I say, Lazarus, come forth, is he going to come out of the grave? And he didn't do all that. He just spoke his word and it was done. You can't be, because if he had done that, that would not be the Christ speaking. That would have been Jesus in his humanity trying to be the Christ, trying to raise somebody from the dead. See, that's what we're trying to do, being in this other vibration, trying to do something, right? Trying to be spiritual, trying to be a healer, trying to be that, you know. No, you don't have to try. When you are it, there is no trying. Yes. Yoda said there is no try, we must do. Either you do or you don't do. And when you find yourself trying to do it, that's okay, but you're still in process then. When there's no questioning and you simply move, learning to move with spirit. You know that old song that says, when the spirit says, I'm going to move, when the spirit says move. I'm going to sing when the spirit says sing. I'm going to pray when the spirit says pray. And because what is it? That's the working, whatever, something like the working of the Lord. So this download I'm learning, just move. I don't have to question it. There's a vibration that begins to move me. When you start to open up and start, as a mystic, you move. You move with the spirit, you know?
Yeah, because you understand the result from it, because I think everyone can relate to getting a download, and that download saying, go talk to this person, call this person, or speak to this person, sometime a person you don't even know. And you may get up and do that. You may not, because, you know, the fear is that, you know, I don't know this person. I don't know. But we all have those times where we got a download and it told us to act, and we've act on it. And then we go, oh. Yeah. And then as a mystic, you know that I don't have to question it. I know that if I get the download and I know what it feels like, because to me, it's always a feeling that comes with it. And that feeling feels, for me, it feels like a likeness. So I know what that is. Yes. And so I can depend on it because it's happened enough and I've acted enough on it. I know when it's here. So, you know, I'm moving to the mysticism, you know, and those aspects, when you start seeing, that was some of the terrain earlier, of knowing the terrain. And part of knowing the terrain is when you know, okay, this is a divine thought. This is a knowing.
Yes. And you just have, in the beginning, you just got to feel, you know, you just have to be with it. So now it's like, oh, okay. I know when I'm in the way, and I know when something's coming forth. And, you know, there's a phrase in the scripture that sort of like, you know, about think on these things. A divine idea and thought's going to be peaceful, loving, good for the highest good of all. You know, if somebody said, well, how do I know if it tells me this thought telling me to go out and kill this? That's not a divine idea. No. Because the divine is always moving towards wholeness, towards absolute goodness, for the upliftment, the edification, the blessing. It's not about shutting down, harm, limitation, negativity. So, you know, if you have to question, if something, you get a thought that says you should do something, and you know that, first of all, it's not acceptable in the natural law and the physical law. If you break the physical law, you're going to be, you know, pay the consequences. You're going to go to jail. That ain't no divine idea. If it's telling you to go, you know, steal this thing or take that or rob, that thought of questioning is coming from a human perspective. Yes. When you begin to elevate your consciousness, you will not have those thoughts of limitation, right? Of destruction, negativity. You know, that won't enter into your consciousness. You won't act on that because that's not present. There's only one presence and one power in the universe, and that is the presence and power of the absolute goodness that is God. Yes. And so when we block that, we are subject to get anything, but that is we blocking that. So when we create ourselves to be more open and transparent, more of the beauty and the goodness, you know, of God comes through, you'll know that that's a divine download. You know, you won't have to question it. Like you said, it'll be light, it'll be peaceful, and everybody's going to have their different vibration of how they feel it, but it will be of good. It will be of God.
Yes, it's all good. It's all God, and as you said earlier, it will be for the good of all people involved, all parties involved, because that's a divine thought. Why would a divine thought not include all parties involved?
Yes, right, exactly.
One of the things that you mentioned earlier, one question I want to, before we go, about affirmations and denials, and I know Unity, teaches affirmations and denials, and in pop culture that we know about affirmations, but we're not taught denials, and sometimes there's confusion about what it is, even if you know what denials are. So what is the difference between an affirmation and the denial, and how do we use those things to shift our consciousness?
Right. So now we're using them as a metaphysician, right? Because a mystic doesn't have the need to use affirmations and denials, because affirmations and denials are to help condition and change your consciousness. So that's the work that we can do. When we're a mystic, you don't have to do the work. You've reached a certain level of consciousness and awareness where you're not doing that. But certainly as a metaphysician, to learn how to use affirmations and denials is a great thing, because it's helping you to shift and change your consciousness, your thoughts. We're working with thoughts, not awareness, but thoughts. And the thoughts will lead hopefully to awareness. When you think a certain thought long enough, you'll have the awareness. The thought should yield a higher consciousness or awareness. So an affirmation is a positive statement of truth, some kind of truth, right? The goodness of there's only health and wholeness. So something that's positive. And when we affirm a positive thought that isn't affirming it, we're not affirming it to hope that it'll be true. You affirm it to condition because it is true. So an affirmation is latching on to some level of truth with a big T that doesn't change, right? Now, a denial is, because we're working with consciousness as metaphysicians to shift and change consciousness, we know that we have a whole bunch of stuff in our minds, right? So we're shifting and good, bad, and the ugly is all in there, because everything that we have ever thought is still present within our being. Everything we have ever felt is still present within our being. So things come from the subconscious mind where it's all stored. We can't keep it all consciously because we'd be crazy. We're only dealing with the conscious mind, only holds so much. And then it moves, most of the stuff that we are moves to the subconscious, and it's stored there. So until something brings it up, triggers it, causes us to, wow, okay, where did that come from? Some situation caused a memory, an old thought to come up. So denials then I always like to say, do not think of it in the psychological sense of the word, like we're denying the existence of something. That's crazy, because if it is, it is. I don't want to deny the existence of this pen. It is. But a denial is that you use it to say that whatever it has manifested has no lasting control over you. It has no lasting effect over you. So let's say you've manifested a health challenge or a cold or maybe even something serious like, lymphoma or something. I don't know. What you want to do is to separate this dis-ease as being a permanent part of your soul nature. You are experiencing dis-ease. And so what you want to do is deny that dis-ease has any lasting effect on the soul of your being. It's not really your nature. You are divine. You are whole. Even if someone says, well, what about people who are born blind or have some kind of physical, they're still whole. Wholeness is not just your physical. Wholeness has to do with your spiritual nature. So the use of denials is to help unearth all of these calcified, limited, negative thoughts in your consciousness that you believe are you. I am sick. I have cancer. You're experiencing cancer. You don't have it. So the denial would say it helps you to break free of those thoughts that you have allowed to be seen and to believe are a part of your basic nature. So and the thing is, Mr. Fillmore said you should use your denials first and then affirmations. Clean up the error thought in your consciousness that, wow, I am, Cancer is a part of my soul nature. No, Cancer is expressing in your physical being. It's not who you are. So you would say something like, I am free from the permanent effects or whatever, or the effects or whatever of Cancer, or I am free from the thought of Cancer. I am free from the expression of Cancer. I am free from whatever it is, just to kind of unearth that this is not a permanent thing. And then you use your affirmation. I am whole and well. I'm created whole and well in spirit, in God. So you clean up the error thought that's deeply rooted in consciousness by using a denial. Not that you're denying that some Cancer hasn't shown up, but you're denying its grip as a part of your being. You free yourself from that, and then you put an affirmation in to let that new thought then bloom and take place of this old debilitating, limiting thought. So you deny the limitation of that thought. You deny, the reality of that thought in terms of big R reality as a spiritual expression. It's a physical expression, but because it's not, it's like the idea of, Cancer is an idea that it's a mutation from the idea of wholeness. It's not wholeness. So you want to get back to wholeness. So you want to eliminate.
And the mystic already see I'm whole. It already sees that that I am one with God. I am whole and not deviated from that. And if they are experiencing Cancer, they are going to see themselves whole and healed and well.
No matter what.
And they know that it's not about fighting Cancer. It's about seeking wholeness.
Exactly. DJ, you are so on it. That is so absolutely correct. I was so impressed with, I don't know if you know of Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh was a very well-known Buddhist Zen monk, and recently made his transition. And he was, I think, 94 or 5 or something like that. But he developed, I think it was Cancer, but he was so still peaceful in the midst of his condition. He still didn't deviate from the knowing of who he was, from his centeredness. So that, and I watched his service it was broadcast online, and as they were preparing his remains of his body and stuff, and they were going to be anointing it, but he was even in death, he was so peaceful. You could feel the peace coming through the TV as they were carrying him. And I thought, whoa, this is what I'm talking about. He never stepped outside of his knowing, even in the midst of having the human experience of Cancer. He was still in his spiritual domain as the body did its thing. So much so that people, like, I could just feel it. It was just amazing. It was, and the look was so peaceful as they carried him from his room to the place where they were going to, prepare his body. And everybody, all the monks from all over the world were there, but it was so peaceful and solemn and beautiful. I said, that's a person who embodied his teaching, his knowing, so that even in the middle of a condition, even in the middle of death, he was not moved. That's deep. I want to get to the place where I ain't moved. All this stuff out here is moving me, so I need to be to the place where, you know what, I see it, I bless it, I let it.
And you don't identify. He didn't identify with it. He understood it. This is just another experience.
Exactly.
And that's, to me, is amazing. Where I'm trying to go. Because we all have our date with destiny, and I don't fear it because I'm like, it's the cycle of life. It has to happen. But I think most people are not afraid of dying. They're afraid of not knowing when and what's going to cause their death.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I always tell myself, whatever happened, I'll be okay.
Yes.
But getting to that place of understanding that whatever happens, even if death happens to me, that's just another experience.
It's an experience. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's amazing.
The goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. To live with just awareness, peace.
So I know I wanted to give you a moment to mention any thing that you wanted to mention. I did, I do know that you want to mention about the World Day of Prayer and I'll talk a little bit about that and Stand Up for Humanity as well. So I wanted you to talk a little about that before we go.
All right, thank you. And by the way, this has been wonderful. But so Unity does a World Day of Prayer every year on the third Thursday of September, where we invite people from around the world to hold a consciousness. If you can do it for 24 hours, that's great, but to really be in prayer so that we're joining together to speak for every country in the world, every leader in the world, every living being in the world, creation in the world, that we hold it high because there's power in this collective consciousness. And so we're going to have, or during the day, you can call in for prayer. You can go on our website and see the activities whenever they begin to post it. And I think the date is September 10th, but I'll have to go and check that. I think it's September 10th is the World Day of Prayer, but check out the website to make sure. But we'll also have a guest speaker in the evening who will bring us a wonderful message. I don't know. I think it may be, I don't want to misspeak. I think it might be Reverend Cheryl, but I'm not sure who the committee has selected yet. But there'll be a speaker. We usually have all the flags of the world. We have things that we'll be reciting and affirming and holding. And it's a beautiful experience. So if you can come out, it will be online, but it'll also be in person. And we're trying to let people know that we have our safety protocols in place so that we are very much aware of social distancing and how to make sure that we're all safe when we gather together. But we would love for people to come out and be, physically in the place that evening. The program, I believe, starts at 7:00. But again, check the website for details about that.
And I'll have the link to that in the show description.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Stand Up for Humanity, we haven't had a chance to do that with, COVID kind of threw everything off the basis. But what that is, we're also divided. We're also filled with a sense of me, mine, separation. But what would happen if we simply are standing up for the benefit of humanity so that everyone is blessed? And I believe that we can all contribute to the collective. So Stand Up for Humanity is about encouraging people to put something positive into the spiritual soup of humanity. It could be whatever you're doing, your podcast, putting out positive ideas and thoughts for others to take hold of. Maybe a scientist is putting out a positive, formula for something. Maybe a child is creating a positive song, or that encourages children to, whatever it is, we all have something to give and something to add to the greater mix of life itself that will benefit everybody. We're so used to separating me, mine, they're getting something, I don't have it, we don't like it, I don't want you to get it, you can't do this, you can't vote, we don't. What can we do to add to the blessing of humanity? So there's more in that. We have a website and you can go on. And right now it's not active, but once we get active, you certainly are free to check that out as well.
Yes. And one of the things before we go, I wanted to talk about was, COVID has shut a lot of things down, and we have to say post-COVID, but we're still very, COVID is still here, like a quasi post-COVID.
Yes.
But COVID really affected church because, I mean, I know church is in the heart, and regardless if you're in the place or not, still churches should be in the heart. But in this place that we're trying to get back to the physical church, because I enjoy fellowshipping with other individuals and being in a place, and I'm still trying to get back to that now because we've been so comfortable just enjoying the talk while sitting in bed watching TV. We're getting spoiled.
Yes.
But in our effort to get back to, and now, like when you say bringing the energy back into the church, we'll talk a little bit about that and how can we, I mean, of course, get, just get in your car and drive to church just one way, but
that's it. That's the way. So here's the thing. What we have uncovered is that we will still always be online because people like that. And it's a way to reach people who are not physically in the area so that they can still participate. Plus, the other thing is young people like to be online or use the internet or some. So what my thoughts are is twofold. The first fold is how can we engage the online community so that they recognize and feel part of the community? So it's not just that they tune in and listen to a talk, but how can we engage them to participate in this spiritual community, whether it's online or in person? So that's the key. We want people to connect because it's so easy. This whole concept of social distancing has caused people to really feel that they're distant. So they're going online to feel some type of connection, but we want to have it in a positive way. So how do we keep people engaged online to be a part of a community? That's important. The other thing is we're going to still be in person because I believe that from time to time we need to be in physically. Yeah. What I have done now is so we've opened up the doors, but at the end of the service, what I do is I come down and I just walk around the church to greet the people because I want to feel connected. I want to see, beyond the mask, look into your eyes and to thank people. So again, it's a shift. I didn't do that before because we were all, hundreds of people there, we're singing, but now I feel the need to go. So that's something that's different. It just happened organically. Just go out and see and connect. So we're going to have the choir coming back sometime in September. And I think when the choir comes back, there's a vibe. Remember, everything's vibration. So that music, that sound will come and help bring people in, because I think that people are loving being in the bed, but after a while we miss people. You need to have that connection. So we'll always be encouraging people, and we're opening up now, getting things ready. We'll have more classes. Right now we're online, but we're going to shift to having classes back. It'll be a hybrid. And so we have to find ways to bring people physically back into the church as well as physically online, so that there's a connection there. So, we're going to be doing both. And I just say, even my own mother, I said, Ma, you want to come, get up and come to church with me? Because she came to church every Sunday. It was what she looked forward to. She came in, she had her special seat. Now I said, Ma, you want to come? No, I'm comfortable. I remember she's in her pajamas. She goes to church by online every Sunday, but she's really spoiled now and doesn't really want to, come up. But she's 94. So all y'all folks that still are able to move, come on out and connect. Just connect.
Yes. And see what you're missing out, because I do when I'm, like I said, I've gotten spoiled where I'm like, I can just get up, have my pajamas on and drink my coffee and watch the sermon. But when one of the things that you did this, watching this Sunday online, and you said, you started talking to the audience and they were, kind of shouting back to you. I said, I'm missing that, And so I like that what you're sort of showing the audience that there's a piece of this that you're not seeing or you're not getting by not physically being here. Yes. And so it made me feel like, oh, there is a piece here that I'm not getting by not physically being there.
And that was organic, again, I didn't say that. Just, the people, I just felt like Spirit was like, talk to the people, so yeah, let's connect. It's a happening.
Yes. It's a happening.
It's a happening.
Yes.
Everything is happening now in the now moment.
It's all happening simultaneously, and
yes.
I'm working with that, and I would love to say I'm a mystic, but I know I do feel that, and the truth is that I do feel that I'm a mystic. I think that I was born on this planet as a mystic, and it's just that the way my life has turned out that I can clearly see it, and. It's here, but we have to lean more and more into who we are and who we are as God sees us, and that's the identification and the awareness that I'm stepping into at this particular point, and it's always been there, but as you said earlier, embodying it, is a whole nother situation, another level of it.
Yes, another level.
Thank you so much for joining me. I have this conversation. It was everything to me. I knew it was going to be awesome, and I am looking forward to having you back on the show. And I don't know, I love you.
Well, I love you too, and this was great for me because as you can tell, I love really letting the Spirit move through me and sharing and talking, and because I too feel I was born for this. And we all are. We all are, So I thank you for the invitation.
Yes, thank you for saying yes. And as you said earlier, we're born for this, but I think I look at society and humanity as a whole, as a fish. Part of it is the head of the fish, then there's the fins, and then it's the tail. And the fish needs all components to get that fish to move through the water. And some people that 10% is part of the tail, and another 10% is a part of the head, and we need both the head and the tail for that fish to move. And yes, and you are part of the head of the fish. You're moving consciousness and society and humanity forward.
You know what the metaphysical definition for a fish is?
Yes. No, I don't.
Divine ideas. Fish represent divine ideas. So the fact that you used that, you tuned in and didn't even, you were automatic. That's how the divine works. If you look at there's a book that has all these definitions for certain words and certain images, and the fish represent divine ideas.
I did not know that. Now I know. I know.
So we need everything to get these divine ideas flowing.
Yes, I'm gonna, and I use that analogy again. I'm gonna definitely keep that in. Make sure I add that to my analogy whenever I say that. So again, thank you. I love you for being on the show. I love you, and thank you for being on the show. And I can't wait to have a conversation with you in person.
Well, thank you. You know where I am.
Yes.
You know where I am.
Until
Sunday
Washington,
morning.
D.C.
All right.